Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
It would come out there and take out your ignition and read that key code.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think I have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
see this?
I know.
How you cannot go
Baby,
again?
baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? Come on in, you guys. I haven't been on here for a while. I've been watching and following the Nolan Wells case and what's going on. And I want to give you my thoughts and input on what I've been hearing and what I have figured out. I think I know what happened. And so I always wait until I get as much information as I possibly can. And you guys know information, and then we know information that's not real, that has, transpired. And so therefore, taking out all the things that we know that may not be true, but possibilities, and therefore people's theories, thoughts, and things, and how things are going. I haven't looked on there today what was going on, because actually I was trying to get some business taken care of. But anywho's, you guys, and we might get interrupted because I've got phone calls coming in about some business I'm trying to tend to. But on the meanwhile, let's get into this conversation. So today's subject is Nolan Wells, and I believe I know what happened. Okay, if you guys have been following the Nolan Wells case, you're probably sick and tired of hearing about what's going on in everybody's theories. You've heard some things you don't like. I've heard some things I don't like about this case. But at the same time, Um, you know, there is a child that is deceased, and we do not know what happened. So, first of all, let me share with you guys my thought about Mississippi. Now, Mississippi has a history that we all know. Mississippi has this history of not caring for their African American people over there. And so, with that being told, the way that the African Americans that's in Mississippi, they move around, they're scarish. And so they don't want to make waves. They want to, get along, and so sometimes when you're trying to come in on the outside and you're trying to focus of what happened, that's like you looking into somebody else's house saying, you didn't wash your dishes the way we wash our dishes like this. We have a dishwasher, and girl, you need to get with the times, and it ain't like that no more, and da 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 da. And I get, it makes the people down there, African Americans, feel kind of somewhat in a bad way, because that's all most of them know is Mississippi. They ain't even been out of state. They haven't traveled, to the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, the North. They just been down south. So they basically think this is the way it is, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? If they traveled out of their state and go to other states, they can see that, um, you know, but it's hard to try to assist people that don't have that kind of frame of mind, because they cannot comprehend that it's not supposed to be like this. You shouldn't be scared to say what you see. But if that's your environment for your whole life, then that's all you know. Like, you'll argue with somebody of the same color, like, hey, why y'all talking bad about our town and talking about our state? We're not talking bad about your state. We're just saying, like we, can't just, we keep hearing all of these reports about African American people down there getting hung and getting thrown in the lakes and in the river and stuff. And I mean, it's shocking, because I'm not saying they don't do it in other states, but I'm saying it's not that fluent. It's not like every day somebody is just getting, in the lake or getting tied up on a tree. It's not like that. And if you know anything about your history, even when we had the Civil War, you guys, and the Civil War, we won in the Civil War. And so slavery was supposed to be abolished, right? The people in the South still did not know that it was gone. Okay. So when you talk to someone down from the South, a lot of them wanted to stay with their masters because they fed them, and they was good to them, and they had a place to sleep, and they didn't have to worry about, what they gonna eat, because the slave master had, and I'm just telling you guys, we're not far from slavery to realize that the mentality of those people still exists. So I mean, I know that some of the people I've been talking to, many of my friends, and that mentality down there is just, it's not even shocking to me, because you have it everywhere. Pretty much you do. You have it everywhere. Like, you can't say, hey, this is 2026. What the heck are you guys doing? No, we're not living like that. We don't have to, and I understand. I love that Dr. What I think his name is Umar, whatever. Umer, Umar, Dr. Umar. And sorry if I'm just tearing up your name, but that strong brother is very, very strong in his word, his intellect, his understanding, and it may be too strong for the people down there in the South to know that it's not aggressive. It's just what he sees, and you know, so I normally don't be in agreement, but I am in agreement with what he sees. I am in very much agreement, not with, now I don't like calling people names like Brandon, it's the officer Brandon, whatever. They call him BT Coon. And I thought that was funny, but I know. But anyway, or BTC, and the C stands for Coon. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. But I just felt like, I think that's why Dr. Umar came on and did his analysis of what he seen and what he thought. And 95% of what he was saying is very correct. Like the people down there, what are they doing? The people, how they're talking and all this other stuff, Um, I'm, I'm just gonna share with you guys what I've heard. Hey Phyllis, how you doing? Hey Cynthia, I see you in the building. I'm going to share with you guys some things that doesn't make sense. And I'm going to tell you what I think about it. And you don't have to think the same way I think. But so, Warren said in his interview with Brandon that his little brother had got into a confrontation and he said he ran to help his brother, and his brother, he pulled his brother back to the boat. Now, see, my question would be, okay, so your brother didn't come with you on that boat with you, so he must have been on another boat. So that interplays with what Dr. Umar was saying. Like, there was other boats that should have been subjects to be searched, questioned, interviewed, and I'm in agreement with that. Okay, because you said your little brother was there. How did your little brother get on Horn Island? Because he wasn't with you guys when y'all first went out with you 3 or 4. And then not only that, in that conversation with the 911 CETO lady, her name was Vicky. Warren had said when he was talking to her, you can hear a woman in the background. Now, I'm not finna sit there and say, I heard this, I heard that. I don't know what I heard. I mean, when I hear the original and nothing's taken out of it, I really can't make out who is saying what and what. It's just a whole bunch of commotion. But when the young lady, I can't remember what her name was, Beverly, some start with a B. But when she kind of cleaned it up, and thank God she cleaned it up, she did a remarkable job. If that is a true thing there, the biological mom brought the brother. Oh, okay. Thank you. So we're going to get into that, Cynthia. So that tells me that you've got, 2 other people on this boat. You got a woman on the boat that didn't come with you, and we don't know how was your brother on your boat with you, because you said you went and got your brother and put him on the boat with you. So did he come back with you, or who all came back with you? Warren, see what I'm saying? Like, who came, did not leave together. Now, I believe the reason why they told the story about this thing going on and their boat was sinking or whatever. See, I had a problem with Warren calling this CETO, and by the time he called CETO and got off the phone, Vicky, the CETO lady, the dispatcher, had called the CETO to tell them to go and check out these kids. And then the guy says, hey, I already got a call from the uncle and he canceled. And I'm like, that's pretty quick for them to have canceled that pretty quick. Wouldn't you want a $70, $80, $100,000 boat with a whole bunch of kids on it to make sure it's okay? Why would you cancel it and you don't even know if the boat's sinking? Now, these kids are supposed to know what happens when boat get water in it, and don't be all scarish or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So do you know or do you not know that, yeah, boat gonna have a little bit of water in it, you open it up, and then when you take off, the water comes out or whatever. You don't know that, but anyway, but you let your grandchild take this $100,000 boat and cancel them to come and see if you guys were okay. So anywho's, you guys, I want to go into this conversation. I had to let you guys know about that, which you probably already knew. But then now another incident has came up with Tristan. Tristan is another friend of allegedly not Warren's, but Nolan's best friend. Now, Warren is Nolan's best friend, he claims, and Tristan claims that Nolan is his best friend, like they best friends. But they never met the mom. And that's kind of hard for me to understand how y'all best friends, but y'all don't go over to Nolan's house. Why not? If mom is a nurse practitioner working a very decent job, and and you can tell, she's a very decent woman, you can tell, she's clean and she's not rowdy and all that other stuff, so why would you not go and meet the mom and eat and go hang out and, hey, I'm gonna pick you up tonight, or even just show up at the house or whatever. I mean, like, you never been over to Nolan's house? Why would you not? Never. Any of my friends I've been over, if they're my friends, I've been over to their house. My kids, they have friends or something, they come into the house, they come into the house and, hey, we're going to get dressed, you're going to the graduations, y'all going fishing, you're getting in the car or something, I see you, I may not sit with you and we chitter chatter, but I know every last one of my kids' friends. I can tell you that if they've been over to my house before, even if they only been over there once, if they are their friend, they came over to my house at least once or twice. I seen their face, Actually, before I even let you go over to your friend's house or spend the night, I literally got to talk to the mom or the adult that's over there. We just not nilly-willy just letting our kids, oh, you're going to go spend the night over Jason's? Okay. I don't know where Jason live. I don't have Jason's phone number. I've never talked to Jason's mom. Things of that nature is just like, I'm not really understanding, I'm not blaming nobody. I'm just saying that just don't make sense. But let me tell you guys, this is not going to be a long video. I'm just going to tell you what I think, and you can weigh in, because when Tristan said that he was in an altercation or whatever, and I'm thinking, okay, so Warren's brother was in altercation, Tristan was in altercation, and all the time everybody's talking about their altercation that they've been in, but nobody is saying that they've seen Nolan or what Nolan think about the altercation. Now, here's my input. Okay? And you're going to say you heard it here first. So I believe that there was an altercation. And I think the altercation that Warren's brother was in is the same altercation that Tristan is talking about. Now, I know that this altercation that Tristan is talking about was supposed to be 5 o'clock. And the altercation that Warren is talking about was like 3:30 somewhat. I don't believe they got the time right. She said, that's right. My mom did the same. Need to talk to the parents, a phone number, and exactly. So a lot of things are just not adding up to all this. Everybody unsure, but they want answers. Those questions, I'm just saying, I'm not faulting the parents. I mean, those questions are something that would have taken place before spending the night, going on an island, taking a trip, just hanging out with these buddies. Oh, I want to meet them. At least want to meet them. You mean to tell me mom ain't met none of your friends? None of these cats? None of these guys? I don't I don't know. And she got and Nolan got a mom and a stepdad. And I'll say stepdad because here's the thing. I'm not understanding if this is a stepdad, why we haven't heard from the dad. Do anybody know that? Where is Nolan's biological dad? Because even though my kid's father did not stay with us and we were not together, if I called him on a drop of a dime, and I have had to do that on both of my children's father, and say, hey, I need some money. Hey, I need to get this kid out of here right now until we handle this. Guess what? No matter if we fighting tooth and nail in the courtroom or we tearing up each other's car or something, he's like, I got you. Because that's his child too. And I haven't heard anything. I don't know. Like, is Nolan's biological dad deceased? Why he has not raised his head? Okay. I don't understand it. I mean, I just really don't. But nevertheless, I'm just looking at everything, even though that some things make you not want to speak on him. Phyllis says, I thought he is the dad. No, he's the stepdad. See what I'm saying? Now, see what I'm saying? Now you know. So, and see, I'm weighing on the things that I know. So I'm thinking that Tristan and Tristan and Warren's brother, and probably Nolan, this is my analysis, you guys, of it all, was in some type of confrontation. Okay? And Warren did probably go get his brother and drag him back to the boat. But he probably told Nolan, you want to take Tristan's side, blah, 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 blah. Since you want to take Tristan's side, figure your way home. I believe that's how Nolan ended up on the island without no phone and da-da-da-da-da. Now, with Warren and Warren's brother and all his friends together. Now, remember, Tristan is half black and half white. I thought they said that when it was said he's the stepdad, that wasn't true. No, he's the stepdad. He's the stepdad. That's not Nolan's real stepfather. I mean, that's not Nolan's real father. That's why his name is not the same. Nolan's last name is Wells. I mean, you can either get that from the mother's maiden name, but she's not even carrying the stepfather's last name. So that tells you she's either in her maiden name or she's in her married name. But her child being Wells is neither name. That possibility is the father's last name. Okay? More than likely, 90%, that's his father's last name. Okay? Unless the mother remarries somebody else before she's with this cat. And who knows if they're really married? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, you couldn't even tell if I'm married because I don't carry my husband's last name. But I'm not saying people don't do that. But I'm just saying, if you're looking at all the defined fine prints of things, you kind of sit there. Her name is Wells Wansley. Okay, so she could have been married before, or that was her married name. You know? So, was that her maiden name, Wells? So, if it's Wansley, that's her new husband's name. So, see what I'm saying? So is the child underneath. I'm just saying that he's not the biological father. Okay? I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I'm just saying, like, some things people are just not saying because they, and I'm saying it respectfully. I'm just being honest with you guys, to be honest. Like, some people be like, oh my God, they're talking about the stepfather and the father and the biological father. What difference does it make? It makes a lot of difference because it could be somebody else. And the factor of Nolan did not come home. Because when just like Dr. Omar said, or Umar, when he said, why would the stepfather say that he doesn't think that it has anything to do with race? Hold on, dude. Why would you say something of that nature? For four of them to go out that's white with one black kid and everybody comes home but the black kid, you don't think it has to do with race? Well, what does it have to do with? Because at the end of the day, you've got Black Americans looking at the situation in their feelings, thinking that their kids are unsafe. And how can we even be affected seeing that your child didn't come home, thinking, can we bring our kids and our grandkids around certain races and they were going to come home? So we're all going to look at this. It could be I carry my maiden name and my married name. Yep, you're right. Married name and maiden name. I carry my maiden name and my married name. But mainly I use my maiden name. But none of my kids have my name. They have their own last name, which is their father's name, because I want them to make sure they know who their relatives and cousins and nieces and you know what I'm saying? Like their kin folks are. I don't want them to be dating some girl and come to find out that's his stepsister or, such and such. I want them to go by the name and say, hey, do you know somebody by the name of such and such? You know what I mean? Did you hear about Tyler Smith, that case is said to? Yes, I did. And there's a woman that they found not far from there that was hung by a tree. She was hanging by a tree, and it took the firemen's extended ladder to even get her down. But they're looking at it, but they don't want to say now. See, and that's the good thing. When the American people, and I say American people because it's just not black folks, but when American people look and say, something ain't right, y'all, something just ain't right. Now, what I think we don't like is when people try to play in our face with all these, it could be this, it could be that. He didn't have no marks on his knuckles or no defense such. Well, he could have been liberated where he didn't even see it coming. And if you hit somebody in the back of the head, they're not going to be swinging. They're going to fall, and that's it. They're done. They usually knocked out, They don't have no defense abrasions because you hit them in the back of the head, you done did some damage. And that's where these red marks and bleeding, the subcutaneous occipital area was damaged at. Yeah. So when the forensics get on there and they start talking about there was no, nothing on his knuckles and all this other stuff, and there was nothing on his arms. If you hit somebody in the back of the head, you're not going to have nothing on the knuckles. You're not going to have nothing on the legs. They could be out, and they could be out so much that they drown. Like the water don't wake them up. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they was already a little intoxicated, intoxicated. I'm just saying, you know. And so, and if somebody's in the water and somebody took a paddle board and slapped somebody in the back of their head, they could go down. By the time you get them in the boat, they could be drowning or whatever, but they could be gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just saying, I believe that the altercation that Warren's brother was in and that Tristan guy, the mixed guy, he was half black and half white. I think Warren took a side, and he probably took Tristan's side. I mean, Nolan. I'm sorry, I said Warren. I keep calling Warren. I don't know why that boy's name is on my tongue. Nolan took Tristan's side, and Warren decided, you're not getting on this boat. You're supposed to be my best friend. Now, I think the reason why Warren is saying he's my best friend, he was my best buddy, he was my best friend, is because it makes him look good to say he's my best friend. But we all know that y'all was not best friends. Y'all was probably friends. We're not saying you wasn't friends, but the best friend part is not true. But Umar said something that was so true, and it was just like, it wasn't like we didn't hear it, but to hear somebody say, why would you, Warren, call the mom not as soon as you make it in, but wait until 11:30, 11 o'clock, when it's blackout, to ask her, have she heard from Nolan, when you got Nolan's phone? You know what I'm saying? Now, I know you can use other people's phones and make it back to shore in some way, but you can't get your keys. You ain't got your car, and you don't know, but all these possibilities, like he could have got a ride from somebody else, and then once he get a ride from somebody else, he's got to use somebody else's phone, and once he used somebody else's phone, he's got to get a ride home, because once he get on shore, then maybe he'll use somebody else's phone and then call his mom and say, Mom, come pick me up, and then in the morning or something, I'll go pick up my keys and my car or whatever. But you didn't wait till in the morning. You called her at 11 o'clock and then said, I'm going to call the Coast Guard. Being a kid, going to say, I'm going to call the Coast Guard. Just because Nolan didn't come home. Now, Javon being a friend, and Javon's mother, the one that helped Christine use the 360 app, they went over to where Warren was at, whether Warren was at home or over his girlfriend's house. They went to where the phone was at, knocked on the door, or didn't knock on the door, but walked in. Warren said it was like 8 of them. 8 of them? Why would there be 8 of them just to get a phone? Because if you look at the situation, if Nolan made it to shore and he went over to some young lady's house, why would 8 people pack up and come to your house, 8 deep, to get a phone? And Warren, the way he said it was like this. And I'm going to tell you guys something. It has been embedded in our head. The most fear a white person can have is in his thought. In his thought about a black person. It ain't what they do, it's what they think they can do or will do. So Warren says it was 8 deep. It was 8 people at the door, and they just walked in like he was scared for his life. You know what I'm saying? So, to get a phone, and all they did was 8 people come over there. We want this phone. We want this phone, man. You gonna give us this phone. I need 8 people with me so we can get this phone. Something ain't white about this milk here. Listen, family, 8 people showed up. This is what Warren said. Showed up, didn't knock, came in, the lights was out in his house. Jovan's mom was there. They say Christina was there. I don't know. To get a phone. To get a phone. Well, I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to say this, and I want you guys to think about it. Normally, when it's 8 deep shows up, they already know something has happened. They already know. I don't know if Javani went to Horn Island. I don't know what boat he was on. I know he done already heard something, or he already know something went down. You don't come 8 deep because a phone is over here. You know what I'm saying? 8 people deep. Phyllis says, I don't believe Warren. I would have been taking down the door, get me some tools so I can take down some doors. I would knock. I wouldn't open up the door. I would be taking doors down. That's what Miss Tina says. Yes, you guys. So I believe that in this circle of people, the ones that say that they love Nolan, when it comes to Warren, and it comes to Javon, and it comes to Tristan, you know, and Brett, and all the other kids, they know. They know. And now, Officer Brandon has made his last post saying somebody got in touch with him and said that they seen this person, but it wasn't Warren, but they are in that group of friends with Warren, some kind of shape, form, or fashion, seen them arguing with Nolan and them and their husband. So it must have been a woman that said her and her husband seen them arguing with Nolan, and they gonna tell. Well, first of all, that's what Brandon said. And you know, I'm going to keep my 2 cents because I think Dr. Umar said it best when it comes to Brandon. What I feel about Brandon, you guys know what I feel. I feel the same way that Dr. Umar feels, you know. I do. But, you know, I can't say the things that Dr. Umar says. You know, like, we just tired of our children not coming home. And we're tired of people playing in our faces about our children. And we teach them to be safe when they're out there. and around people. And so this is why maybe Christina saying he would not leave his phone. He would not just, stay in contact. Warren said that he called his mama when he was on the island. So he's like, it's not like it's not her that people leave their phones on the boat. I didn't say it was, because I said to myself, we're doing all of this and everybody getting all rowdy because his phone was left on the boat. And she's like, that's just not like him. Well, I don't think Ben Crump is down here just because he left his phone on the boat. No, you cannot make me believe Ben Crump is representing Christina and the Nolan Wells family because Nolan left his phone on the boat. If I leave my phone on the boat and did not come home, I guarantee you Benjamin Crump would not be down here advocating for me. That wouldn't even make sense. That man is a multi-millionaire. Just because they left their phone on a boat, no. Even in the second interview with the lawyer, the body language of the friends tell a lot. More than one person is not telling the truth. Just my opinion. Yes, Phyllis. There's more than one. And if you crack one, you'll get them. And you're only stronger than your weakest link. And I'm going to tell you who's the weak link, you guys. I'm going to tell you who the weak link is. And I'm not down there. So, but if I was, Katie, you ain't heard nothing from Katie. But it was very surprising that Katie's sister reached out and said, my such and such and such and such went and got Katie. Katie's safe. What Katie had to be safe for or safe of. Hey, Monique, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You don't say somebody's safe unless there was a situation that they would not been safe. Cynthia says, I believe Nolan was the one that got into it with Warren's brother. That Amber, he had someone in the mark on the back of Nolan's head. Lock up Amber. Amber? I don't know about Amber. You mean Amber? Who's Amber? Or Katie? Or are you talking about Amber? You talking about Katie? And Phyllis says they just using scare tactics to stop us from getting the truth. But I'm going to tell you something. When you have a lot of different opinions about things, armbar. Come on, y'all. Everybody has their phones in their hands at all times. Pretty much they do. They have it in their hands, their pocket. And even if you're in water or something, you might put it down for a minute or whatever or something. But for 5 straight hours, you put it down and not say anything, not make no calls, not miss no calls, not know if your mom needs something, or even though when I'm at work, I still have my phone on me at all given times. Even when I'm at work, whether it's on silent or whatever, I have my phone on me all the time. I may lay it down, but I come back and I check to see if I got any phone calls or whatever. You guys check it out though. I'm just saying. So yeah, what I believe is Tristan and Warren's brother got into it. Nolan took Tristan's side or whatever. Warren got angry about it, brought his brother back to the boat and said, yeah, he ain't getting on this boat, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, y'all got into some kind of confrontation. And then y'all left. It just so happened you're going to say, oh, the boat was sinking. So y'all like, you done left the island, but you're still close enough to the island where you can swim back to the island or get out the island and start walking to the island, because you can't get that close to it. So your boat's got to be floating out there somewhat. So you got more people on the boat than what you brought to Horn Island. You got more people without Nolan. Why would you say if your boat is sinking and you got more people than what you came to the island? You got more people than what you came. You came, there was like 4 or 5 of y'all because somebody had to been driving the boat. We see 4, so somebody had to been driving the boat. Somebody had to take the picture, right? So there's got to be like at least 5 people, right? But then you tell Vicky, the dispatcher, she said, how many? You know what they said? You know what Warren said? 7. 7? And your boat is sinking and you got 7? So you got 4 minus Nolan, which makes 3. The captain or who's doing the boat, which makes 4. But you got 3 extra people without Nolan. And you're sitting there talking about, we're sinking, we're done, we're sinking. Yes, Tina, the whole case makes me sick also. But I just wanted to share my thoughts. You can take my thoughts with you guys. I kid you not. I do watch this case. I listen to it. And I just hope everything, as we continue to find more, we're not going to hear nothing else about the case. We're not going to see the toxicology results. We're not going to see the autopsy report because all of that is going to go into the grand jury. And then the grand jury, everyone look up Amber, see that technique that could be how they marked on Nolan's head. You mean that a wrap around his neck or something? I think I know what you're talking about. That arm bar. So if you came in front, there probably would be some kind of defense marks on him. If you came from the back, there still would probably be some kind of defense marks on Nolan. I don't know. I think Nolan got hit in the head with something, and that settled that. You know what I'm saying? It only takes one strike. It really does. And I think that's what happened. And he probably didn't even see it coming. He probably was standing there, and then boom. I believe that's what happened. And I believe Bart or Warren is the culprit. I'm just saying. See, I'm just saying. That's what I believe. Now, I'm not saying that's so, y'all. No, I'm saying, that's what it looks like to me. Another CG, they might try to seal the evidence even after the grand jury. Yeah, you're right. They might. But I just don't see Ben Crump come down here just because Nolan left his phone on the boat. Only way Ben Crump come down here is not because Nolan left his phone on the boat. They got to be a credible family. It can't be nonchalant family when you're getting off into a lot of stuff. So, you can't just be doing all kind of messy stuff in the towns and things like that. You got to be upright people, which, I think Christina and her man are upright people, living good life, doing things right, loving on people, making a living and taking care of the family and the kids and all that other stuff. And, I think they're very upright people. I don't think nothing bad of them. So that's a plus. But that doesn't make Ben Crump come down here just because a phone. Nolan didn't take his phone with him. You've got to have something. You've got to have something that they have not said, they have not put out there. Because, first of all, you don't want to make a fool out of yourself. There's only but so many cases you could sit there and lose. Even if you lose a case that you're supposed to have won, like Ben Crump worked on the case with what was the guy that did that got beat with the all the cops, all the black cops, right there in what was that, in Atlanta? What was his name? We see him all the time, and I just think of him all the time, and I could just see him skating on his skateboard. Oh my goodness, what was that baby's name? Um, Man, we got him in the end of our thing. When we get ready to go off, you see him skating on his skateboard. Well, matter of fact, let me go pull it up, and then maybe y'all could tell me what was his name. I can't remember his name. Tyrese Nichols. There we go. Tyrese Nichols. Tyrese Nichols. Yeah. There we go. Tyrese Nichols. Now that case should have been a sealed deal. And you guys seen how that worked out? Them officers got away with it. I don't care if you white, black, pink, or purple. They got away with it. They did. They got away with it. Right in front of us, they got away with it. Because they had a whole juror that didn't see that they did anything wrong, because these officers was taught to do that. I'm telling you guys, I don't think nothing's going to come out of this case. I don't think Christina's going to get her answers. I think it's going to come and it's going to pass. And that's going to be that. And it's not because these boys are smart. It's because in this world, in this society, that's how it works. Okay? When you've got the money, you can pay things to go away. You just can. And I know that for a fact. I worked around people that has big money. I'm not talking about working money where you work at a 9 to 5 and, you got paid. Well, you can go get groceries, pay your bills, and pay your car payments, some insurance, and gas, light, water, telephone. Hold on, you guys. Okay. So, yeah. Crazy. So, anyways, was the fight the reason they took off so fast? Was the fight the reason they took off so fast to cause the water to come into the boat? No, if you take off fast, the water will go out the boat. The water will go out the boat. You know what I'm saying? But these kids boat all the time, so they should have known that. Like, we don't learn one-on-one when it happens. But the way he was talking, like, we're going down, we're in 31 feet of water, da 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 da. And then somebody grabbed the thing and pulled them. And then once they got some speed, then the boat went ahead and, okay. His friend could have hauled them into town. They didn't need somebody else to come and tow. They could have put the hook on top of their boat, on the front and drag. It's just like a car, you guys. It's just like a car. If you got a car and somebody else got a car and they say, I'm stuck or my car won't run, and you can call a tow, or I got a chain. I hook your car to my car and we can get you back, and the water will come out as long as if you're moving it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, and we were moving it. We were going 40 miles an hour, you know? Okay, well, 40 miles an hour is not really fast. Boat or not, you go 40 miles an hour, you go 30 miles an hour down residential streets. So 40 miles an hour is not like you was really doing the do there. So, but the water will come out the back end if you're going, instead of coming in the boat, it's going to be coming out because you're moving. You know what I'm saying? But they forgot to lift something. Yes, but they forgot to lift something. Forgot to lift what, Miss Phyllis? I think when they took the plug out, I think that's when he said, "Dang it, Bart," because I think Warren didn't know if you take the plug out and then get the boat to going, the water is not going to come in the boat. The water's going to go out the boat. You know? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, I'm going to get off of here, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts on that and come on because we haven't been on in a while. We're going to keep checking out information. We're going to come in here. We're going to conversate about it, and we're just going to talk about it. All right? And if you guys got any information, bring it on in. Let's talk about it.